Hello everybody. In this video I'll be setting up IPSEC to protect a GRE tunnel between routers R1 and R3. Just going to show you that quickly. If we do a show IP interface brief, we can see the tunnel I've set up. It's called tunnel 1 and it's got an IP address of 10.0.0.1. If you do a show interface tunnel 1, we can see that the tunnel source is 200.100.50.1, the destination is 200.100.50.6, that's on router 3. 200.100.50.1 is this router's interface gigabit 0/0. And to show you on the other side of this tunnel, show IP interface brief, we've got 10.0.0.2, and if we go show interface tunnel 1, you can see this side's source is 200.100.50.6 and the destination is 200.100.50.1. And I can show you the tunnel works. Ping 10.0.0.1. Now I just want to show you this tunnel is not encrypted. If we right click here, we are I'm not going to show you with Wireshark that it's not encrypted. So I'm just going to do a ping to the other side of this tunnel, ping 10.0.0.1, and here in Wireshark, there you see the ICMP echo request. It shows it's going from 10.0.0.1 to 10.0.0.2, but what's actually happening, you'll notice there is two layer 3 headers. Yeah, we've got, so from the top we've first seen your Ethernet headers, and then here's the actual IP header, that's the one that's actually carrying the traffic. So that's your source and destination for the tunnel. So on the outside of the packet we have 200.100.50.6 is the source IP, and 200.100.50. Let me just stop this quickly. 200.100.50.1 is the destination, which is the IP address in router 1. Then you have this GRE header, basically protocol type 0800, refers to IP version 4. And then you've got your internal IP source and destination. So the packet came from the tunnel source IP, which was 10.0.0.2, and it was going to 10.0.0.1, but then router 3 encapsulated that with a with another IP header, or first with a GRE header and then with another IP header that's from 200.100.50.6 going to 200.100.50.1. The most important thing to see here is that we can actually see this data inside the ping. Nothing's encrypted. Sorry for that, was off the screen. But what I was saying, the most important thing is you can see that this tunnel is not encrypted. Now I'm going to show you how to use a crypto map on the one side and an IPSEC profile on the other side, because there are two ways to do this, and rather than do two different examples, I'm going to use both methods in the same example. And the IPSEC profile method is actually easier to use when working with dynamic multipoint VPNs, but we'll get to that in another video. Okay, first thing when you're setting up IPSEC is just to explain what IPSEC does. So IPSEC provides confidentiality. You remember the acronym, I just think of CIA. So it provides confidentiality with an encryption algorithm. In this example I'm going to use AES for encryption. Integrity, it provides using a hash, and integrity means it's a way for the other router to make sure that the data has not been manipulated in transit. So the data that's received can be verified based on a hash, and this hash is not just sent along with the data. It's encrypted so that someone along the line can't see what the hash is, and they can't change it and re-encrypt it. So the router that receives the data also receives an encrypted hash with the data, which is like a digital signature, which it can use to provide the integrity to prove that the data has not changed during transfer. So for that, we'll be using MD5. And the other thing that IPSEC provides, provides authentication, proving who's on the other side of the link. And for authentication, we can prove that with a pre-shared key, or you can use RSA signatures. But in this example, I'm going to use the pre-shared key, taking the easy option here. Pre-shared key just means you have a password on both sides, and that password is used to authenticate that who the router is. And then there's one other thing that IPSEC provides, and that is anti-replay protection. Means if a man-in-the-middle attack happens, someone captures some of the packets in the IPSEC tunnel. Maybe they don't understand the packets, but they try to replay those packets back at a later time. IPSEC prevents this by using sequence numbers inside the packets that prevent packets that were previously transmitted on the network being replayed. So those are the 4 things that IPSEC provides. Now, there is a way to set up an IPSEC tunnel on its own, and if you do that, then you need to manually set up the keying material. You have to choose what the actual key will be. But there is an automated way to do it, in which case you have 2 tunnels. The IPSEC tunnel, which is the one that you want that's going to carry your data, but before that you have another tunnel called a ISACAMP tunnel. That's ISAKMP. Now the ISACAMP tunnel, its job is to negotiate the security parameters for the IPSEC tunnel. So it automates the process of negotiating the parameters for the IPSEC tunnel. So the first thing we're going to do is set up this ISACAMP tunnel, which, like I said, its job is to get the parameters across for the IPSEC tunnel. So the way we do that is the command crypto ISACAMP policy, and then this last thing is a priority value. And the way this works is when router 1 and router 3 are trying to form an ISACAMP tunnel, they are going to look for the lowest priority ISACAMP settings that match on both sides. So if you have 2 ISACAMP policies and they both match on both sides, then obviously the one with a lower priority will go first. So here we're going to have to set up those things that you need for the tunnel to work, such as the hash, the authentication, the group, the lifetime, and the encryption. I'm going to explain these things in a second. The way a person remembers this, and I learned this from the CCNA security book, not that I have CCNA security, it's Keith Barker's idea. He said you must think of the word haggle as if you were thinking of the 2 routers haggling with each other to negotiate these parameters. Anyway, so the word haggle is the acronym for the things we need. So the H is for hash. Now here by hash you can choose a few different things. Now the job of a hash, when a file gets hashed, it chucks out a unique value, and that unique value identifies that file. So any file in the world, you can run a program against it. For example, if we do an MD5 hash, it will push out a code, and it's just like a random string of characters. And if 2 different people run the same hashing algorithm on the same file, they get the same code. And if somebody injected a virus into that code and you ran a hash on it, well, you're going to get a different hash code. So hashing is what gives you integrity, meaning you can tell that if the hash code is right, no one's changed it. So no one's changed the file in transit for it. So for the hash, we're going to use MD5. MD5 is not one of the best. The best is SHA, but I'm just used to using the ones I'm going to use now. Okay, then for authentication, if I press the question mark here, you can see you've got RSA signatures, which is basically digital certificates. Each side will have its own digital certificates which it uses to authenticate. But the easier way to do this is just to say pre-share, which means we're going to have a password on each side, and this password is for authentication. It's not the password for encryption, it's just the password to prove to the other side who you are. So authentication, pre-share. Then we must select a group. Now this group is a Diffie-Hellman group. I'm just going to take one. Now Diffie-Hellman is an asymmetrical encryption algorithm, meaning it works with two keys. So the one side will have a public and a private key, and it will send its public key to the other side. Whatever the other side uses, whatever the other side can take the public key, encrypt something with the public key, and then send it back. And only the private key can open what's been encrypted with the public key. So what Diffie-Hellman does is it allows the two routers to start off using an asymmetrical key where you've got the public key and the private key, and to through this method obtain a secure channel, and through the secure channel they will then negotiate a symmetrical key. Now symmetrical key means that we use the same key. Let's say it's something simple as 1 2 3 4 on the one side to encrypt, and on the other side to decrypt, you'll decrypt with 1 2 3 4. Whereas asymmetrical key means something like you could be encrypting with 1 2 3 4 and unencrypting with ABC. No, that's a poor example because it doesn't quite work like that, but I hope that gives you the idea. But the point is, Diffie-Hellman is used for the simple reason to get a symmetrical key across to both sides. That's its job. Then the next thing we need to put here is lifetime. Now you can put anything you want here, but this is how long the tunnel will stay up for before the tunnel gets torn down, and then it will need another packet to go through the network to trigger this tunnel to go up again. And every time the tunnel gets recreated, it obviously will what do you call it, have new keying material. Therefore, if a hacker got the key the last time, this time they'll have to get new keying material, so it renews itself every 3,600, I believe those are seconds. Okay, and then the last thing we need here is encryption. Now this is the algorithm. It's going to be used for the encryption. You've got AES, which is Advanced Encryption Standard, DES, which is Data Encryption Standard, and this old one called Triple DES. Sorry, DES is the old one, Triple DES is slightly better. Anyway, we're going to use AES, and you could specify 128, 192, but we're just going to take AES. Now this AES encryption is a symmetrical encryption algorithm, meaning using AES and a password, data can be encrypted, sent to the other side, and that data needs to be unencrypted with the same password. Now this password, we are not choosing this password. This router is going to choose that password, and the way it's going to come up with that password is it's going to use this Diffie-Hellman to negotiate that password on the other side. Now we actually have to, when we set this up on the other router, this IPSEC tunnel must be set up exactly the same. So I go out of those settings now. I've done the haggle, and now we need to specify the pre-shared key. So you go to your crypto IPSEC key, and I'm just going to use 88. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this key is my authentication key. It proves to the other side who I am. And then we put here the address of the other side. Now you can put 0.0.0 here if you were using this for multiple clients, like in a dynamic multi-point VPN. But in this case, I'm going to use the other side's IP, which is 200.100.50.6. So that takes care of the IPSEC tunnel on router 1. I will need to repeat that on router 3. Now for the IPSEC. So the command is crypto IPSEC, and then we need to do something called a transform set. Give it a name. I'm going to call it set1. And the transform set is basically similar to like the Haggle thing. In this case, we're choosing protocols again. Now, I just want to show you, if we press question mark, what our options are. We have AH for authentication header and ESP for encapsulating security payload. Now, AH is an interesting protocol that you can use for IPSEC because it provides authentication and it provides what do you call that other thing, integrity, meaning the data hasn't changed, but doesn't provide encryption. It's something that you would use in a country that doesn't allow its citizens to use encryption, but they can still have a way of making sure that their data has not been modified in transit. So that's what authentication header is for. In this case, we're going to be using encapsulating security payload. We take AES here, so that's going to be providing our encryption, and this encapsulating security payload with MD5 hashing, HMAC, that's going to be providing our authentication and data integrity. So that's how we do that crypto IPSEC. Well, that specifies what settings we're using for the IPSEC tunnel, and we've just called these settings set-1. So now I need to there's one other thing you can put in here. You can specify the mode, and the only options here is tunnel and transport. You actually don't even need to do this because tunnel's already the picked mode. Pretty much you always use tunnel. Transport is only used when the packet is originating from router 1 going to router 3. It's a bit complicated to explain, but it's not so important. Anyway, now we need to set up the crypto map. Now the crypto map is what gets applied to the interface to say which traffic should go through. Now I also need to match this with the access list. I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to call it access list 100 permit IP. So anything that's going from the source of the tunnel to the destination of the tunnel. So it's 200.100.50.1 to it's permit IP host 200.100.50.1 to host 200.100.50.6, and then it's crypto map. Give the map a name. I'm just going to call it map 1, and then we specify a line to insert. Now, if you want to use a crypto map with more than one peer, then which means a peer is in another router, you're going to add each peer to a different line. So you'd go crypto map 1. See, this one's line 10. The next one would be crypto map 1 line 20, and you put the next set of details in. But in this case, I've only got one peer, R3, and then here we put IPSEC underscore ISACAMP. Now, what this last thing means is we are using ISACAMP, which we just set up to negotiate the keying material for IPSEC. That's why we've chosen this. But if you didn't want to use if you didn't want to use the ISACAMP tunnel and you wanted to manually do the keying, then you would take the second option. And then within this crypto map, you can choose the keying yourself. It's not something you would do unless your Cisco router was connecting to some other brand of equipment that didn't support ISACAMP. So yeah, you got crypto map, called the map 1, line 10, ISACAMP. So now, this map must match, how does this work? Match address from our access list 100, and then we want to set the transform set to set1. So saying any traffic that's going from the source to the destination of the tunnel, that's our match address 100. Set the transform set to set1, meaning set the encryption to AES and the hashing to MD5, like for IPSEC, so that's what that's doing. And then there's something else we need to set here. I just can't quite remember it right now. Oh yeah, set the peer to 200.100.50.6. Now you see here, if you're dealing with more than one router on the other side, then you need to go crypto map 120, IPSEC ISACAMP. So you put in another line for the next peer. So I can exit that for a second. Now we can go interface. Now this one, when we are doing it with a crypto map, it must be set on the physical interface. So this physical interface is gigabit 0/0. So interface gigabit 0/0. We go crypto map 1. Do right, and so now we cannot even ping the other side anymore because the other side doesn't have IPSEC on it. So let's get to router 3. I'll try to be a bit quicker here. So it's crypto ISACAMP policy 10 Z hash. We're using MD5. Authentication pre-share group 1 lifetime 3600 seconds. Encryption AES. Exit that. Then we say crypto ISACAMP authentic crypto ISACAMP key was 888.123.45678, and the peer is, just want to show you can actually do this, which means any peer. Just to show you, this crypto ISACAMP key corresponds to this authentication pre-share here. So this key is for authentication, and like I said earlier, this Diffie-Hellman is used to negotiate the key that works for this AES encryption. Sorry, the word is not peer, but the word is address. Confusing myself here. Okay, so now I'm going to do the IPSEC tunnel. So the command starts with crypto again. IPSEC transform set. I'm going to call this set 1. And the stuff has to be the same as the other side, so I have it written here on a paper. ESPAS and ESP MD5 HMAC. That's that, and here we can put the mode as tunnel again. Like I said, that's not important because that's the default. Anyway, so in the other side we used crypto map, and this side we're going to use IPSEC profile, which is another way of doing it. So you go type crypto IPSEC profile. Now we have to give this profile a name. So I'm just going to type IPSEC underscore profile like that. And this profile must set the transform set to set 1. Now here's the interesting part. Previously, do show IP interface brief. Previously, the crypto map was applied to the physical interface. So if we're going to do the crypto map, we would be putting it now on fast Ethernet 1/0. But in this case, we are putting this IPSEC profile on the tunnel interface. So it's interface tunnel 1. And the way we put it on is we say tunnel protection IPSEC profile, and then we specify the profile by name, which is IPSEC underscore profile. And it says it's on. So now if we go ping 10.0.0.1, we get a reply, and we can right click here and do a capture again. Okay, let's just get this router going. if I ping 10.0.0.1, there you see the packets coming through, except now they are sourced from this side. They're sourced from 200.100.50.6 going, let's stop this. So it's sourced from the WAN interface on router 3, just to show you. We go show IP interface brief. They're sourced from this interface 200.100.50.6 going to that interface on router 1, which is 200.100.50.1. But now it's encrypted, so there you've got your outside IP. That's the one that anybody can see. Inside here we've got the encapsulating security payload. As you can see, the data is encrypted. So the packet, obviously, when it left here, would have had a source of 10.0.0.1 and a destination of 10.0.0. Sorry, it had a source of 10.0.0.2, the destination of 10.0.0.1, plus it would have had the actual ICMP ping request information. All that information got encrypted and given a encapsulating security payload header, and then it was given a new source IP address of 200.100.50.6 and a destination of 200.100.50.1. So all the traffic is now encrypted going across our tunnel. Anyway, that's all I have to show you. Soon I'll be making a video on dynamic multipoint VPN if anybody's interested. Thank you for watching.